morning children. Today we'll discuss about the topic India relief features. Before that we learned already in the 9th class regarding about our earth, our universe, how the universe itself started in the previous, and later on how the earth was evolution done, and weathering part, erosion, soil erosion, marines, plucking, glaciers, these all we discussed. Now we'll discuss about the India relief features. Good morning children. Today we will discuss about the what topic? India relief features. What does India relief features? We will discuss about the having a variety different type of climatical conditions in India. India is the second largest populous country in the world. India is the seventh largest country in the world in area wise, and different climatical conditions, different geographical locations, different type of vegetation. These all we can find in India. So that's why India is called as a what? As a Indian subcontinent. Why? Because to continent, what are the characteristics are there? That all characteristics are there for our country. Also different kinds of what? Religions are there, different types of cultures are all there in our country. Now coming to the part of India relief features. What is the India location? India located on the 8 degrees 4 minutes north latitude to 37 degrees 6 minutes north latitude. Coming to the part of here again, 68 degrees 7 minutes east longitude to 97 degrees 25 minutes east longitude. This is the what? Location of the India. Where is the India located? The one more question they may be asked in examination. India located in the 8 degrees 4 minutes to 37 degrees 6 minutes north latitude, 68 degrees 7 minutes east longitude to 97 degrees 25 minutes east longitude. And to each and every country having one time, standard time. Like that we also having one time that is called what? Indian Standard Time. Indian Standard Time, or we can call IST. It is also called as a central longitude for our country. 82 degrees 30 minutes east longitude is what for our country as a IST, Indian Standard Time. When you compare to IST and GMT, IST is ahead than GMT. How much? 5.5 hours. IST is ahead than the GMT. How much? 5.5 hours. Geological background. The total world landforms were originate due to the two joint split. One is called Laurentia Angara land, second is Gondwana land. The peninsular Indian plateau was moved towards the northeast and collided with the Eurasian plateau. And later on, owing to the emission of these comprehensive rocks and due to the foldings, the mountains also formed, which we can find now in our country as a Himalayas are there. The same way, the Gondwana land, the Indian Peninsular Plateau is one of the part of Gondwana land. Later on, due to that, a large basin also formed here in our country with the help of Himalaya rivers in the north and with the help of Peninsular rivers south, which we can find the north plains are formed in our country. Geological background. The total world part of the Indian north to south, distance of the India north to south, 3,214 kilometers is there, and west to east 2,933 kilometers. Coming to the complete, the total area was spread by India 3.28 million kilometers, and the total land front area here 15,200 kilometer, and the total coastline of our country 6,100 kilometer coastal line, including islands means 7,516 kilometers. This is our total coastal line of our country, including islands. The total land frontier how much? 15,200 kilometers. The total area was spread in our country how much in the world? 3.28 million square kilometers. And here from north to south distance how much? 3,214 kilometers. From west to east how much? 2,933 kilometers. Now we'll discuss regarding about the Himalayas. We have the 6 physiographic divisions are there in our country. What are they? One is Himalayas, second is Indo-Gangetic Plain, third is Peninsular Plateau, fourth is Thar Desert, 6 is 5 is coastal plains, 6 is islands. Now we'll discuss about one by one topic. Himalayas, Indo-Gangetic plains, Peninsular Plateau, Thar Desert, coastal plains and islands. Himalayas. We'll discuss about the first one, Himalayas. The Himalayas are running from our country from west to east direction in the northeast part. These Himalayas spread 2,400 kilometers area, 2,400 kilometers area, and it is having a area in the western part very high, and coming to the center part a little bit less, coming to the eastern part again still less. Here the 2,400 kilometers has spread Himalayas, as well as in the western part it spread 500 kilometers. Coming to the again here like this from west to eastern parts, it is here having 200 kilometers of the width. That's it. So the widths having here, see the total spread 2,400 kilometers Himalayas, western part, central part, eastern part. In the western part, Himalayas having width 500 kilometers. Coming to the eastern and central part with how much? 200 kilometers only. The Himalayas having 3 parallel ranges are there. Himalayas having how many? 3 parallel ranges. One is Himadri, or it is called Greater Himalayas. Second is Lesser Himalayas, or we can call Himachal. Third is Shivaliks, Outer Himalayas, or the foothills of Himalayas. The 3 parallel ranges of what? One is Himadri, second is Himachal, third is Shivaliks. We will discuss now one by one the 3 parallel ranges. Himadri. The Himadri is also called what? Greater Himalayas. The average elevation of the height. Elevation means height, or we can call altitude. 6,100 meters above we can find the MCL, means mean sea level. Mean sea level. Which one? The Himadri, or we can call it as a Greater Himalayas. What does it consist? It is covered of completely ice and snow cover. You can find here glaciers, as well as here the seasonal cycles of accumulation of ice here, and these are the source of for what? For the perennial rivers. Which one? The Himadri. Here what we can find, see, completely snow, ice cover, glaciers, and the movement of glaciers melting, and these are the source for what? Perennial rivers. Perennial rivers, or we can call it is only another name, Himalaya rivers. Himalaya rivers. What do you mean by perennial rivers? What do you mean by perennial rivers? The rivers which flow throughout the year due to the rainfall as well as glacier or snow melting. So throughout the year the rivers will be flow. So this Himadri is the source of perennial rivers in our country. What are the perennial rivers we can find? We have 3 rivers are there. We can call them as a simple big. Explain the big river system, they may ask in examination for 1 mark or 2 marks. B for Brahmaputra, I for Indus, G for Ganges. B for Brahmaputra, I for Indus, G for Ganges. These 3 rivers are source from the glaciers, or here ice cover, snow complete. These all comes under the which part? Himadri. What is the average height of Himadri? 6,100 meters above height from the mean sea level. Here what you can find? It is completely covered with snow and ice, and you can find here glaciers, the seasonal of accumulation of cycles and movement and melting of the glaciers. It is a source of what? Perennial rivers. Another name we can call for a perennial what? Himalaya rivers. Now next we will discuss about the Himachal. Himachal, or we can call it as a Lesser Himalayas. Lesser Himalayas. The average elevation 3,700 to 4,500 meters. The average elevation or altitude or height is how much? 3,700 to 4,500 meters height. Here it is covered with the rugged relief and having the compressed of rocks, and here we can find some important ranges are there. One is Pir Panjal range, very most important range here, Pir Panjal range, and Mahabharat range. Mahabharat range. Two important ranges are there here. One is Pir Panjal range, second is Mahabharat range. Next here you can find some important valleys. Some important valleys like Kashmir, Kangra and Kulu. This belongs to where in the Himachal Pradesh state. Himachal Pradesh. So here we could find some important ranges are there. One is Pir Panjal and second is Mahabharata range. Next here we can find the valleys Kashmir, Kangra, Kulu. These all belongs to where in the Himachal Pradesh state. And we will find here some hill stations. Where? Here hill stations in the lesser Himalayas. What are they? Raniket, Nainital, Shimla, Mussoorie. These are some we can find here hill stations, and it is covered with the by evergreen forest. These are covered by what? Evergreen forest. Evergreen forest means what? Throughout the year the leaves and trees will be always greenery. There will be get full rainfall in that area. So here we can call that as a evergreen forest. Now we will discuss about the Shivaliks. Shivaliks is also called outer Himalayas, and Shivaliks is also called the foothills of Himalayas. The Shivaliks average elevation or height from 900 meters to 1100 meters. 900 meters to 1100 meters elevation we can call this one. Here what? Elevation. Another name is what we can call outer Himalayas. The foothills of Himalayas. These are called different names in the different regions. For example, we'll take in Jammu region, we can call them as a Jammu Hills. In Assam, Kachar Hills. In Arunachal Pradesh, Mishmi Hills. What are they? Jammu Hills, where in the Jammu region. Mishmi Hills in Arunachal Pradesh state. Kachar Hills, Assam. Outer Himalayas we can call or Shivaliks or the foothills of Himalayas. What is the average elevation of the height of the Shivaliks? Elevation how much? From 900 to 1100 meters height we can find. The different regions we can call different names of the Shivaliks. What? In Jammu Hills, in Jammu region we can call what? Jammu Hills. In Arunachal Pradesh we can call Mishmi Hills. In Assam we can call them as a Kachar Hills. Here we can find. One more important remarkable feature are there regarding about the Shivaliks. What we will discuss now here, see. The longitudinal lies between lesser Himalayas and Shivaliks are called dunes. Very most important dunes. What are called dunes? The longitude which are lying between the lesser Himalayas and Shivaliks are called what? Dunes. We have few examples: Dehradun, Kotli Dune, Patli Dune. What are they? Dehradun, Kotli Dune, Patli Dune. These are the examples of the dunes. Next, we will discuss about the now Purvanchal, eastern part. The Himalayas which are running through the northeast part, which is going in the part of Purvanchal hills. Here, if you take example like Arunachal Pradesh, Assam state, these all will come in the part here only. Whichever these Purvanchals are also called in the different areas, different names. For example, like Purvanchal, Patkai Hills, Naga Hills, Mijo Hills, Kasi Hills and Garo Hills. These all we have a different hills here we can find. The Purvanchal which we can take, the Himalayas are traveling or passing through the northeast part and which is taking the hairpin bend in the Arunachal Pradesh. Here itself it will take in the hairpin bend in the Arunachal Pradesh, and here again which will be having the region different in the part of here. Eastern part is completely edge of our country, what? Purvanchal only. The Purvanchal can call different names. Here we can find one is what? Patka Hills or Mizo Hills or Manipur Hills, or we can call them as a Purvanchal. Purvanchal we can call in all the northeastern states. For example, what? Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Mizoram, Meghalaya, Tripura, Nagaland. Coming to the Patka Hills, Assam and Arunachal Pradesh. Naga Hills in Nagaland, Manipur Hills in Manipur state, and next Garo and Khas Hills are located where in the Meghalaya state. Till now we discussed about the out of 6 physiograph defines about the one is what? Himalayas. Himalayas are classified into 3 parts. One is Greater Himadri or Himalayas. Second is Lesser Himalayas or Himachal. Third is Shivaliks. All we discussed till now one by one point, which is having what are the features of the Himachal and Himadri and Shivaliks. Now we will discuss about the Himalayas influence on Indian climate. How does Himalayas influence of the Indian agriculture? How does Himalayas, if the Himalayas are not there, what could be happen to India? These all will be having the several. It is a very important for the 4-mark question, and as well as if the Himalayas are not there, what will happen? If there, what will happen? We will discuss now. Himalayas are very important to our country. In what we will discuss now. Himalayas are, see, these are the cause of summer rainfall in our country, and Himalayas are protecting to our country, acting as a barrier to our country like a wall, which is not entering to from the cold winds from Central Asia to our country. Means if the Himalayas are not there, from the Central Asia we will get the cold winds. If the cold winds once enter in our country, there could be no northern plains and there will be no crops in our country. So this is why the Himalayas are acting to us as a barrier, which the cold wind should be not enter from our country from the Central Asia. One more point. And next is what? Himalayas is a cause for what? Monsoon type of climate. Monsoon type of climate. Himalayas is cause for what? Monsoon type of climate, and these are cause for summer rainfall. Next is acting as a barrier. How? The cold winds not enter to our country due to the Himalayas only. Where? From the Central Asia. And Himalayas are the source of perennial rivers. Perennial rivers. Due to these perennial rivers only in our country, Brahmaputra, Indus, Ganges. Due to these 3 rivers, the India having a great northern plains. Great northern plains. These northern plains are very most fertile soil and which having the alluvial soil which is going to make for us grow prosperously agriculture sector in our country, like Punjab and Haryana and UP. This is all the which we are getting the most fertile soil here. And due to these northern plains, it is a prosperous for what? Agriculture sector. And next, these Himalayas are also cause to make a development of the what? Tourism for us. Tourism with the help of what? Like hill stations. We are discussed this now in the previous point only. Like Shimla, Ranikhet, Nainital. These are also helping to make development of the attracting the foreigners and development in the tourism development. It is also development for our economical development and to earning in the foreign currency. If the Himalayas are not there, what could be happen? If the Himalayas are not there, there is no summer rain for us. There is no monsoon type of climate. If the Himalayas are there, there will be no northern plains and there is no perennial rivers also. These all will become. So what will happen if the Himalayas are not there? The northern plains can be could turn into the dry area or like a desert.
The physical features of India can be grouped as the Himalayan mountains, the northern plains, the peninsular plateau, the Indian desert, the coastal plains, and the Indian islands. The Himalayan mountains are one of the most beautiful places in India to explore the gifts of nature. Its highest peaks, snow-clad mountains, carpet of flowers, and sunrise, sunset through the mountains offer a delightful experience. The Himalayan ranges can be grouped into five parallel longitudinal mountain belts of varying width, each having distinct physiographic features and its own geological history. They are designated from south to north as the outer or sub Himalayas. They are also called the Shivalik range, then the lesser or lower Himalayas. Next, the Great Himalayan Range, known as the Himadri Range, and the Tethys or Tibetan Himalayas. Further north lies the Trans Himalayas. From west to east, the Himalayas are divided broadly into three mountainous regions, that is, western, central, and eastern. The Himalayas are 2,400 kilometers long, and their width varies from 400 kilometers in Kashmir to 150 kilometers in Arunachal Pradesh. The Shivaliks are the southernmost and geologically youngest east-west mountain chain of Himalayas. They have many subranges and extend west from Arunachal Pradesh through Bhutan to West Bengal and further westward through Nepal and Uttarakhand, continuing into Himachal Pradesh and Kashmir. They extend over a width of 10 to 50 kilometers and have an altitude varying between 900 to 1100 meters. The longitudinal valley lying between the lesser Himalayas and the Shivaliks are known as dunes. For example, we have Dehradun, Kotli Dun, and Patli Dun. Now, these are some of the well known dunes. The hills are cut through at wide intervals by numerous large rivers flowing south from the Himalayas. Next is the Lesser Himalayas or Himachal Himalayas. The Lesser Himalayas or Himachal Himalayas lies to the south of Himadri. The altitude varies between 3,700 and 4,500 meters and the average width is 50 kilometers. It consists of the Pir Panjal range, which forms the longest and the most important range. Next is the Dhauladhar range and the Mahabharat range. Now, these three are the important ranges lying in the Lesser Himalayas. The Pir Panjal range is the largest sub-range of Lesser Himalayas. It is a group of majestic mountains in the Indian state of Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir. The average elevation varies from 1,400 meters to 4,100 meters. The Pir Panjal range is the largest range of the lower Himalayas. Dev Tibba and Indrasan are the two tallest peaks of Pir Panjal mountain range. It also has India's longest rail tunnel known as the Pir Panjal Railway Tunnel. Then it is Banihal Road Tunnel, famous Rotang Pass and Banihal Pass. The Dhauladhar range is one of the branch of the main outer Himalayan chain of mountains in Himachal Pradesh. Dhauladhar mountain range is one of the major attractions in Kangra along with the amazing Kangra Valley. highest peaks of the Dhauladhar range is the Hanumanji Ka Tibba with an elevation of 5,639 meters. The Mahabharat range completely lies in Nepal. The lesser Himalayas consist of the Kashmir, Kangra, and Kulu valleys. The Kashmir Valley is bounded on the southwest by the Pir Panjal range and on the northeast by the main Himalayan range. It is approximately 135 kilometers long and 32 kilometers wide and is drained by the river Jhelum. Kulu Manali is one more important tourist place in this region. Due to its close proximity, these two names, that is Kulu and Manali, are often considered as a single destination. The valley is known for its amazing hills and various temples and sightseeing locations attract a huge number of visitors each year. The Kulu Valley is surrounded by Deodar and pine forest and is located between the lower and the greater Himalayan ranges as well as the inner Himalayan ranges of the Pir Panjal. Kulu Manali is one of the topmost tourist places in Himachal Pradesh and is frequented by huge crowds of tourists and pilgrims. Kangra Valley predominantly lies in the state of Himachal Pradesh in India. It is one of the Himachal's most beautiful valleys. The next one is the Great Himalayas or Himadri. This is the most continuous, loftiest, and northernmost range of the Himalayas. The snow clad mountain ranges rise in height up to 6,000 meters and are covered with snow. Many peaks exceed 8,000 meters. It is a source of a large number of glaciers of varying dimensions. When I say glacier, it refers to a huge mass of moving ice. Though it is described as the longest range, it is not continuous because a large number of rivers originating in the north of this range cut across and form deep gorges and move towards the south. However, compared to the other two Himalayan ranges, the Himadri is more massive. The Great Himalayan Range run in a northwest to southeast direction in the western part. Behind these ranges lies the Jhaskar Range. The Jhaskar Range is a mountain range in the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir that separates Jhaskar from Ladakh. Geologically, the Jhaskar Range is a part of the Tethys Himalayas. The next one is the Trans-Himalayan Ranges. They are about 40 kilometers wide and 965 kilometers long. It consists of Karakoram, Ladakh, and Kailash Range. The Karakoram Range is located in the northern part of the state of Jammu and Kashmir. It is one of the major ranges of Himalayan system. It is the home of the highest concentration of peaks rising over 8,000 meters. K2 is the second highest peak in the world and the highest peak in India. It runs for a distance of 500 kilometers and is heavily glaciated part of the world outside the polar region. The next one is the Ladakh Range. It is more or less like a huge high altitude plateau region. It is located between the Karakoram Range and the main Himalayan range. It lies in the rain shadow area. The entire Ladakh region can be described as a cold desert. The next one is the Kailash Range. Now, this range lies entirely outside Indian territory. The Kailash Peak and Mansarovar are the prime attraction for pilgrims. From west to east, the Himalayas are divided broadly into three mountainous regions that are western, central, and eastern. The western Himalayas extend from the Indus River in the west to Kali River along the Nepal border in Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand. The western Himalayas can be further divided on the basis of regions such as Kashmir Himalayas, Himachal Himalayas, Punjab Himalayas, and Kumaon Himalayas. The next one is the Central Himalayas. It stretches between river Kali to river Testa. The major part of Central Himalayas is covered by Nepal. Its eastern part is called the Sikkim Himalayas and the Darjeeling Himalayas. The Eastern Himalayas. It stretches between the Teesta and Brahmaputra. It occupies the state of Arunachal Pradesh. The Eastern Himalayas are also called Arunachal Himalayas. The Eastern Himalayas have a number of passes. Jalipla in Sikkim and Bumla in Arunachal Pradesh are main routes to the Tibetan capital Lhasa. After learning the main Himalayan ranges, we shall learn about the associated mountains. Now, the hill ranges running in the north south direction along the Myanmar border are called Purvanchal. As they form the easternmost part of the country, they are called Purvanchal. They run through the states of Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram. As a result of the eastward movement of the Indo-Australian plate, we find that a series of hills have developed in this region. From north to south, these hills are referred by different names. Like we have Patkoi Hills in Arunachal Pradesh, Naga Hills in Nagaland, Manipur Hills in Manipur, and Lushai Hills in Mizoram. The highest peak of Naga Hills is Saramati Peak, which is 3,826 meters.
Indo-Gangetic plains. Till now we discussed about the Himalayas, one of the physiographic division. The second one is what? Indo-Gangetic plains. These Indo-Gangetic plains are also called, we can call Great Northern Plains. Great Northern These plains are formed due to the perennial rivers, or we can call them as a Himalayan rivers. Perennial rivers or Himalaya rivers. The Indo-Gangetic plains we can find here in our country. Three parts are there. Three parts are there. One is western part. Second is central part. Third is eastern part. First one is western part. Second is central part. Third is eastern part. What rivers will come here? In the western part, the Indus river will be there. In the central part, Ganges river will be there. Eastern part, Brahmaputra. The great northern plains are formed, western part and central part and eastern part. Come to the western part covered by the Indus river, and the central part Ganges, or we can call them Ganga. Eastern part covered by the Brahmaputra river. Now we'll discuss one by one. Indus River. The Indus River originated. It is originated in the Himalayas only, in the Himalayan part. From there, if you take an example, like Lake Manasa Sarovara, where the Lake Manasa Sarovara near Kailash range, it has taken the origin of the Indus River. The Indus River is having a 5 tributaries are there. How many? 5 tributaries are there in Indus River. What are they? We will discuss. First one, Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas, Sutlej. These are the very most important 5 tributaries of the Indus River in our country. The major part, the river will be flow in Pakistan country, and minor part in Punjab and Haryana, some other states. On Sutlej only we can find the one of the famous dam was constructed, Bakra Nangal Dam. These are all the important of the rivers. And here the Indus River, the major part where in the Pakistan and minor part in India. The Indus River drain in the Arabian Sea. The Indus River drain in the Arabian Sea. Now we will observe the video about the Indo-Gangetic Plains. How many parts are there? What are they? Western, central and eastern parts. Western part, it covers with Indus River with its tributaries Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas and Sutlej. The Indus River basin is largely located in Pakistan, including a little portion of Punjab and Haryana plains in India. The region has the Doab features. The features of land between two rivers is known as Doab. Do means two, Ab means water. Now, central part, the Ganga river, which forms the Indo-Gangetic plain, the Ganga plain, which have some several hectares to be irrigated in our country, from Gagra river to Teesta river. It flows in Bangladesh also. Across our country, in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Haryana, Jharkhand, West Bengal, the rivers flows in our country. We have some tributaries in Ganga, which are called as a Son, Gandak, Kosi, Yamuna, etc. Eastern part of the river in the Indo-Gangetic plain. It will be formed by the Brahmaputra river flow through Assam. Till now we discussed about the Himalayas, Himadri, Himachal, Shivaliks and the Indo-Gangetic plains. How they form, the formation of the Indo-Gangetic plains, how it was formed through the rivers of the Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra. And what are the tributaries of the Ganga, Indus, Brahmaputra, how the northern plains were formed, and how the Himadri and Himachal, Shivaliks, what are the variations of the levels, altitude, and the same part of in the part of hill stations, evergreen forest, Pir Panjal range, Mahabad range, and the perennial rivers. These all we discussed today in the party. Tomorrow we will discuss about the next topic class, Peninsular Plateau.